this great country and their families to please rise. On behalf of all of us, we thank you and are honored for your service. Let's give these brave men and women a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Carl Hayden High School Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Dean of Students and Campus Pastor at Grand Canyon University, Chaplain Tim Griffin offers our invocation.
Would you join me in prayer, please? Our God and Heavenly Father, we first want to say thank you to the veterans that are with us today. Thank you for their gift of service, for standing in harm's way to protect our freedoms. Bless them and bless their families, we pray. Thank you for this beautiful venue that ISM Raceway has provided for us for today's event. Thank you for Whelen's sponsorship and the incredible support that they're showing for this race. God bless now the drivers, the crews, the officials. Keep them safe in today's competition, for we ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome American Idol Season 7 finalist and international recording artist, David Hernandez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights and all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It is all on the line. 7 drivers fighting for 3 spots. They want to be in the championship 4 in Miami.
huge on the opening lap.
Bad, we're bad.
It's destroyed.
Two of the main contenders for the championship.
I'm super disappointed for everybody that is involved with this team.
We're done. You can go to the garage.
Not only did we wreck our day, but we wrecked a lot of other competitors.
We've accumulated some bonus points, so hopefully that can carry us through this bad stretch.
Into the wall goes Christopher Bell.
That is absolutely unbelievable.
Won 6 races this year so far and got a chance to win 2 more.
That might put a nail in the coffin of Christopher Bell's title chances.
Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, two of the best this season in the Xfinity Series, and both fighting for a chance to be a part of the Championship 4. Let's go trackside to Parker Kligerman.
And Rick, Austin Cindric comes into this cutoff race 61 points out of making it to the Championship 4. So it's a must-win position for him in this 22 car. But guess what? He has some momentum on his side. Just this past week, it was announced he will be in this 22 car full-time next year with half the races supported by Moneyline. What a better way to start off next year by maybe fighting for a championship this year, Kelly.
14 points, Parker. That's the margin of deficit for Matt Tifft and this 2 team when it comes to advancing to the Championship 4. Just moments ago, Tifft told me that he's going to be on offense from the drop of the green flag, going after every stage point he can collect, and he'll be as aggressive as he needs to be when it comes to the end of this race, he said, without doing anything too stupid, Dave.
Kelly, Justin Allgaier is a 32-year-old from Illinois seeking his 3rd straight berth to the Championship 4 in Miami. But he starts the day in the hole points-wise. His crew chief said earlier today, you know, 4 or 5 guys trying for something that have to beat us on points, nothing ever goes smoothly for all of them. They're counting on some chaos today. They hope it doesn't happen to them, Marty.
Dave, Christopher Bell has 6 wins, but none would be more important than the one today. He must win if he wants to race in the Championship 4 at Miami next week. He told me 200 laps here at Phoenix, that's a long race. I come from the dirt world. Our races are 50 laps there. Plenty of time to make it to the end, and that is all I care about, being there on lap 200 with a shot to win this race. Let's get the final race of the round of 8 cranked up in Phoenix.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Captain of the New Mexico State Police, Tony Gonzalez.
Drivers, start your engines.
Fire in the hole. Right up when you're ready.
The final elimination race of the 2018 season. 4 drivers will have their championship hopes dashed at the end. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Jardiance Implicaflosin tablets, Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Everyone in this group has a great opportunity to go to win a championship.
Cole Custer just punched his ticket to Miami.
From a driver standpoint, that's exciting. You know, we want to battle the best.
This whole having an opportunity to run for a championship, this is something that you build your whole life for.
You have to go out and earn it. Nobody's going to give you a point. Nobody's going to lay over.
You have to claw and scrounge for every little bit.
There's no other way to win a championship without doing everything you have to possible on the racetrack every single lap.
Want to take a look at the starting grid for today's race. John Hunter Nemechek got his first career pole. He will lead the field to the green flag. Cole Custer, one of the playoff drivers, locked in for the championship 4 in Miami. Austin Cindric and Justin Allgaier making up row 2. And then back in row 3, it's Ryan Preece and Elliott Sadler. And Elliott Sadler in his swan song season, his retirement year ending in 2 races. We want to dial him up, see how he's doing as he looks to get into the championship 4.
Hey, Elliott, it's guys in NBC booth. You have a minute to talk?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, we all know your goal, and that's to make Miami with a chance to win the championship. How you going to make that happen, bud?
Well, we got to be aggressive, man. These guys have given me a great Hunt Brothers team for Chevy, and we're in a little bit different situation this year. We were in the last couple. We know who we're racing against. We know what they're going to do to try to win the race, and we're going to have to do the same thing. So we got to be aggressive, stay up front, get all the stage points we can, keep track position. We have our work cut out for us, but we're up for the challenge.
Well, he gave us a long list there, but this racetrack's a huge challenge. What do you think is the most difficult part of this track?
Well, I think now with the restarts, we saw last night with the truck race, guys are really trying to make these corners wide and cut and make them shorter. So I think restarts are going to be wild, especially towards the end of the race. I think that's a very important part of what kind of track position you can keep, is to make sure you can go early and get going.
Elliott, we really appreciate the time, buddy. Have a good day and good luck.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, here we are. You see, riding with Elliott Sadler. We have the Hunt Brothers Pizza camera. And then also out of the right side, this camera's going to see some action on these restarts that Elliott was talking about.
Well, this is going to be exciting to watch. The 20 of Christopher Bell starting all the way back in 38th. He's going to take us on board with the Toyota onboard camera, and this is looking right over his right shoulder out the front windshield. The 11, Ryan Trix, will have the leaf filter onboard camera. He'll start in the 8th row, 15th position, and man, you want to talk about a good view of the racetrack. I don't think you get much closer than this front bumper camera.
This is the pressure camera, we're going to call it. Justin Allgaier, he got some work to do today. Chevrolet camera, and you can see he's wearing the helmet cam for us today. It's going to be great shots.
Well, if that's the pressure cam, then this is the no pressure cam, because Cole Custer won last week. He's on to Miami. He's going to have the Ford Performance onboard camera right here, the helmet cam with what a view. It's always good when the only thing in front of you is the pace car.
It is going to be an exciting race. And for more of the storylines, let's go backtrack side to Parker Kligerman.
And Rick, Tyler Reddick, 20 points to good over the cut line. Might be the only driver here today playing defense. I was just talking a little bit ago at driver intros, and I said, what's the plan today? He said, it's pretty simple. Beat the 1 car, beat the 21 car, and we're probably going to race for a championship at Miami, Kelly.
43-year-old Elliott Sadler has just 2 NASCAR races left in his career. He wants them both to count for something, but he's not letting the moment get to him. He was loose and relaxed, joking around with his crew chief, Kevin Mendering, this morning. They told me, look, we're going to give it everything we have. Let the chips fall where they may. Either way, at the end of this one, we're going to hug it out. Dave.
Cole Custer is a calm, quiet 20-year-old from Ladera Ranch, California. Coming west meant a treat in a couple of different ways. He's already got that win, which locks him into the championship 4 in Miami. And his first order of business when his plane landed, you got it, double-double, an In-N-Out burger. Marty?
Daniel Hemrick told me, listen, we've executed to 95% on this 21 team. We've missed that last 5%. That's what we need to get to victory lane. Well, he might have a couple good luck charms on his side. Back on the pit box this weekend after a one-race suspension, his crew chief, Danny Stockman, is here. He's happy to have him back. And directly behind him, Hall of Fame desert racer Walker Evans, who has become a big Daniel Hemrick fan over the years. He comes to see him when he's at West Coast races. Walker's here to cheer on his young protege, Daniel Hemrick, hopefully to victory lane in the Championship 4, Rick.
Well, Marty, you mentioned cheer on. How about we listen into Tyler Reddick's radio, a little inspiration for their young driver.
He worked hard to get here. He's done a great job. Have a good race today. Have some fun. Enjoy it out there. Be aggressive. Have some good restarts. We'll get this done. Go to Homestead.
I like that leadership, Rick. Dave Ellens, championship
Yes.
crew chief last year with William Byron. Tyler Reddick, 22 years old, only making his 50th start in this series. Probably never more pressure-packed start.
Tyler's got to remain focused on the goal and understand the situation he's in as this race goes on.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 on the inside. Got his first win 2 races ago, now bringing the field to the green flag for the Whelen trusted to perform 200 here at ISM Raceway. And everyone was holding their collective breath as they went through 1 and 2 because the last 2 races. Oh, and right here, the 66 goes around and Agata into the wall.
Cracked it into the fence there a little bit.
Rick, I was watching as the field, you know, we knew it was going to string out 2, 3, 4 wide down the front straightaway. It did that. And back in the back, we talked about it right at the top of the show, that 20 of Christopher Bell. There was a lot of action around him getting into turn 1.
Ogata, the 45-year-old from Japan, involved in this accident. And this is the 3rd week in a row. The first lap there has been an accident on the start of the race.
You see right there, already around early in the corner. Not sure what happened. See the 76 car, Spencer Boyd, way up the racetrack also in front of him. Not sure if that was somehow connected.
Well, they had restart practice, and now they're going to have it again because we will try the start one more time when we come back. And the field heading down the backstretch 2 by 2 as we get ready for the restart.
Hey, the 76 spotter just come down and said a spring rubber fell out of the back of the car.
That's talking about the 20 car. So don't know, sometimes they'll tie spring rubber to a spring. It may not have actually come out.
And we'll try it again. Look at all the cars diving down to cut the dog leg 3 wide as they go into 1.
Algar.
Little contact there. The 21 of Hemrick goes up the racetrack.
Algar picked up a spot. I thought he was going to take the lead. Great move to the bottom. 3 wide into 1. Elliott needs to understand.
Matt Tifft in the 2 on the inside. Elliott Sadler now just outside of him in the 1. A lot of cars still using that cut through, more or less, cutting the dog leg as they go into turn 1.
Saw what Ryan Priest did right there. He drove in and used all the apron, all 4 tires below that white yellow line.
On this restart, the 00 of Cole Custer has fallen back now to 4th. He was 2nd, and Allgaier has moved up into the 2nd position just behind John Hunter Nemechek. And look at how much of the apron he is running on here as we ride along with Justin Allgaier as he looks ahead at John Hunter Nemechek.
This is where it's going to be so important if Allgaier can hold that yellow line. Does a great job, and Nemechek did it as well. No opportunity to make a gain. Great shot right here. Did he say he was blocking?
No, Justin just said on the radio, a little early for him to be blocking right here.
On board right here with Christopher Bell. I've been watching this out the window, and look at what's in front of him. 2 and 3 wide. There's that wreck car of the 66 kind of taking the apron of the racetrack. That's not making the 20's job any easier.
And Steve only up 6 spots since this restart for Christopher Bell. 16 since the beginning of the race. I thought we all kind of thought he might make a little quicker progress, but Jeff, there's a reason nobody has won from further back than 20th here at Phoenix. Short race, very difficult to make passes here. So talk about the task ahead of Christopher Bell today to pull off this win.
Yeah, it is a short race, but it's a small racetrack, but it's very difficult to make these passes. And you can see what happens. You catch people, they're too wide. Where are you going to go? You've got to be patient. He has to win, but he also can't do something silly and take himself out of this race early.
Rick, I know this is going to sound silly, but his lack of progression is actually impressing me because it's showing some patience. I think he could have attacked and got through traffic, but I think he knows how good of a car he has. So you heard right there, a lot of part throttle, some space off the rear bumper of the 60, making sure he doesn't make a mistake early.
And the truth of the matter is, we talk a lot about stage points. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to him.
It means nothing to Christopher Bell because he has to win. He has 191 more laps to get to where he needs to be.
Yeah, must-win situation. So Christopher Bell, you're right. He has 189 laps still to go to get up to the front because ultimately he has to be up front when the checkered flag flies. That's his only goal. And right now, putting a little distance between himself and Justin Allgaier is the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. Tyler Reddick in the 9, and just behind him Spencer Gallagher in the 23. And on the left side of your screen you see the 9, 1 point ahead of Elliott Sadler. So now where they are running on the racetrack, Elliott Sadler out of the championship 4 and Tyler Reddick in. Spencer Gallagher just behind that 9. Mentioned a few races back that he will be retiring from full-time racing in NASCAR, take a position in the team in a more administrative role.
You mentioned Elliott Sadler. Well, the 19 of Brandon Jones getting underneath Elliott Sadler. Elliott's going the wrong way, back in 9th spot, started in 6th.
Hey, Jeff, I can tell you Elliott Sadler not happy with his race car. Just now he came over and just said junk, 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 junk. And he talked about being in a different situation this year. The last 2 years they've come to this race and really only needed to finish in probably the top 20 to advance to the championship 4. They did not have so big a points buffer this time around, so he knew he was going to have to be more aggressive. And as you see, dropping a few spots and now showing 4 points below the cut line.
And Kelly, this was the signature of the one last year, was making mid-race improvements. They would start the race, okay, average inside the top 10, but somehow, some way, Kevin Meendering and Elliott Sadler improved positions, improved their race car, and continue to get, you know, overachieving type finishes at the end. But that was 2017. Here in 2018, they've lost some of that. They kind of finished closer to where they start. This will be a big test, Rick. Can they improve that one car?
And going back in the field a little bit, Austin Cindric in 5th. Austin Cindric's in the same situation that Christopher Bell in. He has to win this race. 34 points back. I'm sorry, he's 61 points back, but this 22 car led 66 laps here in the spring. He has a fast race car, had good speed in practice. You can see he's putting a lot of pressure on Custer. A better car than Custer right now.
And it was announced Austin Cindric will be racing full-time for Penske in 2019 in the Xfinity Series. Parker.
And Jeff, you mentioned how good that 22 car was in the spring. This is the same setup. It's actually the same setup they've run the last 3 races here inside that 22 car. And keep your eye on it on the long run. That was the key here for them in this 22 car with Austin Cindric. How loose could they start the beginning of the run? They keep that car turning through the long run. How loose could he stand? And obviously they've got it right now, Dave.
Cole Custer just got passed, and Jeff Burton, maybe you can explain to folks, when a driver says there's no fire-off, these cars change over the course of a run. Why do they do that? And when you have no fire-off, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, when I hear no fire-off, that means it will not take off on a short run. And typically that's grip, overall grip. If he was complaining about just being tight, just being loose, that's one thing. But when he's saying no fire-off, that means he doesn't have overall grip. He can't lean on the car, can't push it as hard as he wants to.
Early in the second to last race of the season to determine the championship 4. Right now, John Hunter Nemechek trying to steal the show as he's out front of the playoff contenders. NASCAR Drive is your live race day companion. You can watch throughout the broadcast, select alternate camera angles, or you can even ride along with in-car video of your favorite drivers. Never miss a lap with NASCAR Drive. Just go to NASCAR.com/drive. Still out front, Justin Allgaier has taken over the top spot from John Hunter Nemechek. This is how he did it.
Allgaier just able to hold that yellow line. around the back end of the corner better, is able to exit lower. See right here, up the racetrack, John Hunter Nemechek, and listen right here. Allgaier downshifting on the slow part and then upshifting. That helped him get a little bit of run on corner exit.
Allgaier has been out front now for 5 laps. John Hunter Nemechek led the first 20, Dave.
And Rick, in practices yesterday, this is a little bit of a struggle for this team. They told me this morning they were best when they first brought the car off the truck and ran their first laps on the track. From there, they sort of chased their tail and ended up back where they began. That was actually good enough, though, to start 4th and now take the lead, Kelly.
Well, similar story for John Hunter Nemechek. They were very unhappy with the car yesterday in practice, made some big changes ahead of qualifying when he put it on the pole. Well, he says he needs more rear security in that 42 car, and once Justin Allgaier got around him, he said he was going to try out some different lines on the track, asked for his team to call out lap times. Remember, he raced in the Truck Series last night, and he told me that was very valuable, especially for learning different lines around this racetrack.
Big wiggle there by the 15, so a little bit close by Quinn Huff as he went by.
And John Hunter ran very well in the race last night. He was leading really late in the race and spun off turn 4, trying to hold the lead.
John Hunter Nemechek has driven in the 42 a few races. He's going to finish out the season in the 42, but it was announced this weekend that Ross Chastain will race full-time for Chip Ganassi Racing in the Xfinity Series in that 42 car in 2019. So right away, a definite championship contender for Ross Chastain, who had great success when he drove that car for 3 races this season.
And what does that mean for John Hunter? That's the question, because he's done well in this car as well.
See Daniel Hemrick in the 21.
And Ryan Preece in the 18 right behind him. That 18 has looked really good in practice all weekend long. And I guess I'm not surprised Ryan Preece from the modified ranks, so much time at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And while New Hampshire's a 1-mile track, 3 and 4 at New Hampshire really matches 1 and 2 here in my mind. Very flat, sweeping corner. So as they go down the front stretch, this flatter end of the racetrack down here, I think matches New Hampshire well, and it's suiting Ryan Preece in that 18 car.
Daniel Hemrick coming in had an advantage of 12 points over Justin Allgaier. And as they're running, you see now 11 points is the gap. He is ahead of the one of Elliott Sadler. And Christopher Bell, the progress. You continue to wonder, where is Christopher Bell after starting in the back, already up to 11th.
Think about this, Rick. He hasn't run more than 5 laps in the same position. It's been a steady climb forward. See, plus 27. And more importantly, you mentioned 11th, but right in front of him, Tyler Reddick, Elliott Sadler. We know the 20 needs to win, but I think it's a pretty big win in the mental game when you catch playoff cars still only 31 laps into the race.
And they have told Tyler Reddick, hey, that is the 20 behind you, which is kind of a reaction was, what? But yes, Christopher Bell, all of a sudden, we talked about the lack of progress, quote unquote, early in the race. He has really gone hard here in the middle part of the run. And I'm not sure, Jeff, that he's really pushed his car as hard as it can go. He's certainly saved a little bit, said I need a little more front turn. That's it. Pretty happy with a 20 car. And if you're keeping score at home, plus 27 since the start of this race for Christopher Bell.
Yeah, this moment's not too big for Christopher Bell having to go out and win. He's been in these situations before. And we talked about he not needing points. Well, see some damage on the Elliott Sadler car right in front of him. The right front nose is damaged. But Elliott Sadler does need points. And if the 20 gets by him, that moves him back to 11th. And that's taking points from him. But look at the damage on the right front.
That's some severe damage. This may race like a short track with brake cooling, but aerodynamics plays a huge part. The speeds are still high enough that it really matters, and that is some major damage on the 1 car.
And you're seeing smoke. Yes, some tire smoke out of the 1, Kelly.
Yeah, and obviously Elliott very concerned about that damage. Not even sure quite how it happened, but listen to his radio.
The right front of my car is gone. Check the right front.
He says he's going to need some bare bond. His spotter, Brett Griffin, trying to keep him calm, saying, I don't see any holes on it. They're just going to have to pound it out. So some damage they're going to have to look after when they come to pit road.
Can he make it the remaining 10 laps?
Yeah, that's the first question. Will the tire hold for 10 laps? And The nose doesn't look too bad, but that gap from the hood to the fender, that's taking away a tremendous amount of downforce for Elliott Sadler.
Now under 5 laps to go in stage 1. Will the 1 car be able to make it all the way? You see the damage to the right front. This is how it happened.
You see him cause the lap car, Chad Fincham, and just tried to make a little speed right in the middle of the corner. Just kind of poke him right in the left rear quarter panel, and it's only gotten worse from there, Steve.
Yeah, it got pushed in, and now Kelly, it seems like...
down, make it these last 5 laps.
There you go. Kevin Mender and Kelly telling him, slow down, let's try to finish this stage.
Yeah, exactly. They're telling him just to kind of cruise right now. He has a little bit of a gap to the next driver for position, and they said they've got a plan to patch this thing up if he can just wait it out these last few laps of stage 1.
Unforced error. That's what I mean. That's how I would classify that, Jeff. Right? I mean, short track racing is one thing, but passing a lap car, that's just an unforced error out of the veteran.
Now 3 to go, and Allgaier not feeling pressure yet, but Austin Cindric, you saw it in NASCAR nonstop. Austin Cindric was able to get by John Hunter Nemechek for second, but Cindric still 2.8 seconds behind race leader Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, huge points for Allgaier right now. Remember, he's 12 points back, so if he can go ahead and win this stage, that's a big win for him. 10 points.
Points given at the end of each stage. 10 for the winner, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place. So the top 10 will receive stage points at the end of stage 1 and stage 2. Elliott Sadler has fallen out of the top 10, still running 11th, and behind him 3 seconds back is Spencer Gallagher running 12th. But I think right now just survival for Elliott Sadler. He wants to just get to the end of this stage so that the crew can work on the front of that car. Allgaier, on the other hand, looking to gain as many points as he possibly can today, potentially even win this race, which would lock him into the championship 4 in Miami next weekend. And coming out of turn 4, he'll see the green and white checkered flag winning stage 1. drivers all season long used to get also a playoff point when they would win a stage, but that doesn't matter any longer because after this round, points don't matter. Justin Allgaier gets his 6th stage win of the season, and it comes at a very important time. Needing to get into the championship 4 and needing to get as many points as he possibly can. He already has gained the most possible in stage 1. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the credit card perfect for everyday purchases. Ford, going further so you can. And by Jardiance, empagliflozin tablets. And Christopher Bell has made his way up to the 10th spot at the end of stage 1. Here is communications from the 20.
All right, remember what we talked about on pit road, how you're going to run your lines and your lights. Don't let those guys in front of you sucker you into doing something.
Like that, just a little reminder, Rick. We're doing good. We're in the 10th position. Let's not make any mistakes, Parker.
Austin Cindric very happy in that 22 car. Since crew chief Brian Wilson said, let's just put 4 stickers on it and evaluate it. So it'll be 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel in the 22, no adjustments. Kelly.
Elliott Sadler's in the 1 car, and his team is in position, ready to go to work on that 1 car, on the damage on the right front corner of it. They feel like nothing is broken. They're hoping that body will just pop back out. They'll also make a chassis adjustment because he is loose in and tight across the middle. Dave?
Justin Allgaier got the maximum points possible to add to his total in that stage. Funny thing about racing, though, even though he was leading, wanted some adjustments. Air pressure in the Goodyear tires, Marty.
38th to 10th for Christopher Bell. He said, I'm tight. I need a little bit of help here. So a half turn in the right rear of the wedge bolt. They have the advantage of the #1 pit stall, just 30 feet from the end of their stall to the end of pit road. We'll see if that gains them some spots, and I believe it did. Rick, 3 of them.
Yes, 3 spots there for Christopher Bell. Cindric able to outdo Allgaier on pit road. Big question, did everybody get off pit road without speeding?
Playoff drivers thirsty in the Phoenix Desert. The Championship 4 will be determined not just yesterday, not just today, but tomorrow too. Our coverage begins on NBC at 1:30 p.m. Eastern for the Monster Energy Cup Series. But some storylines in today's Xfinity Series race, we have some great ones. The veteran Elliott Sadler having to recover from some damage. He was falling back in that stage. For all playoff drivers, it's not a case of where's Waldo. They're all wondering, where is Christopher Bell? One of the best drivers this season, one of the favorites, had to start in the back. He went all the way from 38th starting position up to 10th in just 45 laps. But another veteran, Justin Allgaier, he won the stage. He also a favorite on the outside looking in. Every single position matters. Speaking of positions and where everyone is on the racetrack, where's our Rutledge Wood?
Krista, I am up top on the roof with all the spotters. You can see we've got an amazing view, but the hardest part, guys, is right over there as they're going into the new turns 1 and 2. So, Steve, what I'm wondering is, for you guys up there, I know that the site's different, but how hard is it for the drivers and their spotters to work on these parts of the track where it's so much harder for them to see now?
Well, Rutledge, they did a nice job when they reshaped this infield. They changed the elevation, and without the campers parking down there at the infield of turns 1 and 2, that you actually see the bottom of the racetrack better. The big challenge, though, is right here as you see those cars way off in the distance. We see how wide and crazy they get on the restarts. Well, Jeff, you mentioned it. There's just no perception from the spotter to know if you're 2 wide, 3 wide, because they're kind of driving away from you.
And even into 1 and 2, like a guy could be all the way on the bottom, and the spotters can't see that yellow line. They can't see it, so they don't know really what to tell the driver where someone is.
Austin Cindric chose the outside line for this restart. Let's see how it works for him.
That's a tough call right there. So see Allgaier, he's going to hang a left, going to beat the 22 to turn 1. And that's the problem with that outside pick.
Wide halfback, rolling the top halfback.
And a little bit loose there for the 22 of Cindric. He went up the racetrack. And that has opened the door for John Hunter Nemechek, who's looking to the inside, but Cindric closing the door.
Then he overdrove turn 1. He blocked down the front back straightaway. Then he overdrove turn 3. Now that's allowed John Hunter Nemechek to get a run on him.
42 of John Hunter Nemechek takes second away from Cindric.
Cindric got focused on what was happening behind him with that block and didn't get slowed down, didn't pick up his spots. Missed his mark in 3.
Here comes Daniel Hemrick in the 21, looking to the inside of Cole Custer. Parker.
And Jeff, you mentioned the tough decision picking the inside or the outside lane. I talked to Austin about that this morning. He said, you know, watching the truck race, I felt like the outside lane was the place to be if you could keep the run into turn 1, which he didn't. But remember, earlier in this race, at the start, he fell back a little bit and then started to march forward. The party piece of that 22 car is the long run speed.
Yeah, he does have good long run speed, Parker. Now, it's going to be really hard to pick the outside versus the inside. Whoa, Hemrick up the racetrack, almost into the side of Custer. That opened the door for Christopher Bell.
And Christopher Bell continues to steal spots away as Bell is up to 5th. Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Cindric, Cole Custer, and Christopher Bell, the top 5.
And Rick Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief for Christopher Bell, said, hey, bud, we're in different air and different competition for sure. Just be mindful, be patient here. And that's exactly what Tony Hirschman said, his spotter. Patience. He keeps preaching it every lap. Tony Hirschman, by the way, one of our pit crew all-stars. We'll have more on that tomorrow in Countdown to Green for the Cup Series race. But Tony, the veteran spotter, trying to guide Christopher Bell through this field. He's done a good job. They've gained 33 spots since the start of the race.
And a car that's missing from the top 10, who was running in the 6th position at the end of that stage, Matt Tifft, hit with a speeding penalty. You mentioned, Rick, couldn't speed on pit road, couldn't make a mistake. Matt Tifft did. Currently in the 17th position. Elliott Sadler, after repairing the right front fender, he had to pit twice, so he's back behind all the lap down cars and everything in 19th.
Speaking of 19th, well, the 19 of Brandon Jones also was hit on pit road with a penalty, an uncontrolled tire. And Bell now getting a lot bigger in the mirror of Cole Custer.
Got the bumper cam on that 00. Really cool shot. Kind of see what's happening here. Right in the middle of the corner is where it looked like to me the 20 of Bell was making gain on Custer, but as the tires got built up on pressure, Custer's found a way to roll that middle with more speed. Right here is where Bell was gaining on him, but now Custer's found a way. That stopped the advance from Christopher Bell.
And we followed the progression of Christopher Bell after having to start at the back. Didn't even get out onto the track for qualifying earlier today. Trying to get through the qualifying or pre-qualifying technical inspection, wasn't able to do it. Let's take a look at today's Toyota driver update with Christopher Bell. As we mentioned, having to start in the back. On lap 1, he was actually able to pass 7 cars and got up to 31st. His progression has gone well after the pit stop on lap 45 for the end of stage 1. He was able to gain 3 spots on pit road and now is running currently in 5th.
And you can see this is a great shot. You can see the 0-0, how much it's moving around. Christopher Bell able to outdrive him into the corner. This right here is going to get Bell, going to get the 0-0 loose. Already the 0-0 is free. You can see it moving around, Steve. And then when Bell was able to get that front bumper to his rear bumper, that made it that much looser. This is a hard pass to pull off, though. Custer's going to carry good speed into 1 and off of 2.
Down the backstretch they go, and Bell still trying to complete the pass as they dive into turn 3. Bell having just a slight advantage, and he moves up in front of Custer and will take that spot.
I think that's a pass that 0-0 didn't want.
Yeah, he doesn't want to race that 20 in Miami, does he? He would much rather see him eliminate him. He's won 6 races this year. We mentioned it at the top of the show. The 7 of Justin Allgaier and the 20 of Christopher Bell. Those 2 cars, I mean, relatively dominated. When you look at the Xfinity regulars, remember there were Cup drivers in the field for the first basically 2/3 of the year. But when the Cup drivers are removed, these 2 drivers have dominated the Xfinity Series regulars.
Yeah, 6 wins for Christopher Bell on the season, 5 wins for Justin Allgaier. So between the 2, very impressive seasons back-to-back, and neither of the 2 locked into the championship 4 yet.
And on a day where you have to make something happen if you want to win that championship next week in Miami, guess who's rising to the top? Allgaier leading all these laps. Bell starting from the back, driven all the way to 4th. So no surprise that these best teams in these key moments can step up and find a way to be their best at the moments they have to be.
And Jeff, the stress level for Justin Allgaier down this weekend. He told me I was a lot more stressed out at Texas. I feel good about this weekend, and one reason is I've been here before. We've needed to gain points here at ISM Raceway, and we've done it. So he knew what he was getting himself into, Parker.
And Dave, Ryan Truex is actually running, getting passed there by Matt Tiff. Matt Tiff moving forward, handling. Let's go on board this cool cam, the bumper cam, and take a little ride. Back in the throttle here, you use all the exit possible like the 2-car is. You can decide to go down to that shortcut to the dog leg, and now down into what is now turn 1, where you're asking the car to brake and turn at the same time, and then you get those left sides below that yellow line. Dime in the corner a little bit, help it turn by getting those left sides below there, and back in the throttle very early onto the backstretch. And then once again, you'll brake about now into turn 3, and then back in the throttle about there. Pretty cool ride on that 11 car right now.
That is, Parker. A great vantage point we're able to enjoy there, thanks to Leaf Filter and Ryan Truex. We're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series racing. The Whelen trusted to perform 200. Justin Allgaier has been out front 43 laps already as we go NASCAR nonstop. country music fans, Tuesday night you can't miss the new music competition show that's all about country. Shania Twain, Travis Tritt, Jake Owen. They're searching for America's next country music superstars. Real Country premieres Tuesday at 10/9 Central on USA Network, and they might be able to find a true country superstar in Rutledge Wood tomorrow. I know Jake Owen is going to be here, and he's going to hang out with Rutledge. They may hit it off. Next thing you know, Rutledge will be singing country music.
Well,
you don't think?
He might be singing, but he's definitely not going to be the next country music star.
No one's going to be listening, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right.
Out front
at this battle, these guys are going at it. Oh, contact.
And we saw up the track Chad Fincham in the 40 right up against the wall, but Christopher Bell in the 20 getting involved here, and now the 22 of Austin Cindric. Will he come down the racetrack? Bell clears him, but was there any damage done? It looks like Austin Cindric's not done with this battle.
Bell let it go.
Inside 22.
Bell didn't want any part of it. He saw what was happening. Just kind of let the 22 go. Didn't want to be in that position. He's going to come back and take the fight to him. Just didn't want to enter on the outside of him. He doesn't want to fight. You see right there, loose. Car way around for Cindric. Christopher Bell going to take advantage. And that's why Bell didn't want the fight. He knew how much better his car was than Cindric. Let Cindric calm down. Don't put myself in a bad position racing with a young driver. I have a better car. I'm going to get by him. A wise move right there, Steve.
Absolutely. We were just having this conversation during break. It's one thing to come through the field.
We're going just fine. Run down that 42. Follow that 20 through.
See, there you go. Kind of just worry about yourself there. That 20, though, the way he's come through the field, so methodical. He's got the best seat in the house for this battle in front of him.
And he saw this happening. He saw this battle, the contacts. He Fincham in the wall. Bell's like, man, I can't do this. I cannot wreck this car.
He's going to try to wedge him.
Parker Kligerman made a comment a little bit ago to us that Bell's traumatized after the last few weeks of wrecking, being in so many wrecks. He doesn't want to be involved in that. He can't be involved in that. And he's driving accordingly, and he's taking advantage of a fast race car. Plenty of laps to get to the lead. Nice job by Bell.
Marty's made it all the way up to third, too.
Impressive run by Christopher Bell. And I'll go back to what I said a moment ago about Tony Hirschman. He has really been a veteran on top of the spotter stand. He reminded him, he said that 22 and the 42 made contact. Remember, we're in it for the long haul. Be patient here. And you could literally see Christopher just back up a little bit, as you guys mentioned, kind of let it settle out. And then he went and attacked. Up to third for Christopher Bell, showing some poise for a 23-year-old behind the wheel.
And interesting you say poise for a 23-year-old. I sat down with Christopher Bell, and one of his mentors, and probably one of his closest confidants, is a 70-year-old Rick Ferkel, who put the team together for him when he did dirt racing. And Christopher Bell, even though he has moved on now into the Xfinity Series, has won a championship in the Truck Series, Christopher Bell still relies on Rick Ferkel and talks to him on a regular basis. And again, the gentleman is in his mid to late 70s, but Christopher Bell calls him probably one of his best friends.
Wise. Lean on that information. That's the transition of this type of driver. We saw it with Kyle Larson. We see it with Christopher Bell. Their car control, their ability to get speed out of the car is never questioned. But when you come from the dirt ranks, a big dirt race is 30, 40, maybe even 50 laps at the most, a bunch of short heats. You just learn to go and go hard, and I think the transition to asphalt is just the length of the race, and I think we're seeing unbelievable maturity out of the driver of the 20.
You see making a move on John Hunter Nemechek. We talk about, Nemechek loose. Driving a race car is really, and obviously it's a different skill set, but you hear quarterbacks, you hear coaches talk about game management. They learn how to manage the game. Well, that's what drivers have to do as well. When you have a 50-lap shootout, you just go drive as hard as you can. When it's a 200-lap race, you have to pace yourself. You have to know when to make the move, when not to make the move. It's learning how to manage the race.
And right now he's trying to take second away from John Hunter Nemechek. Continues to be loose right in front of Christopher Bell.
And John Hunter Nemechek's driving style is that he is not going to quit. Even though you can see how loose he is. And here comes Cindric on the bottom trying to make it 3 wide. What is Bell going to do? What's his decision here? 3 wide. Backs out. Once again, Bell being the wise.
We'd almost call him a veteran, even though he's a rookie and only 23 years old.
Well, compared to these two guys, he is a veteran.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 42. John Hunter is only 21 years old. And Austin Cindric, 20 years old in that number 22.
And Rick, the reason we spend so much time talking about race management is because there's really not much to talk about when it comes to his talent. His ability behind the wheel of that 20 car, I mean, there's really no question his ability, is there, Jeff?
No question at all. See, Cindric got a good run. 20 car's gone away just a little bit right here. 20, a good run on the inside. This is one.
There's more contact.
Look at his
Cindric
hand.
gets into the 20. Bell's wondering,
You got to be smarter than him.
wondering what's going on here.
So, listen, you heard right there on the radio. Spotter saying he doesn't know any better. You
Let him
have to be
go.
smarter.
Let him go.
Just let that 22 go. It's frustrating, but we have seen this 22 in a lot of compromised positions in the playoffs. We saw him 3 wide in an accident with Justin Allgaier at Richmond. We saw contact with this 22 at other cars in certain situations. Right now, Christopher Bell, as frustrated as he is, this is, I don't think, a race he wants to run in the next 4 laps.
Well, he can go back. It doesn't mean he has to quit fighting him, but he wants to fight him from the inside. He wants to control the pace. If something happens, he wants it to be his fault. If he's on the inside of Cindric, probably nothing's going to happen. If Cindric's on the inside of him, then he's at the mercy of Cindric. So just back up. 3 laps to go before the end of this stage. Wait, see what happens. We're going to pitch you. Just, you're okay. And I love that call.
And again, they have the number 1 pit stall, which will help them also. Marty.
Tony Hirschman came on the radio, said, remember, we're after lap 200, not after lap 86, which is what it was at that point. And Christopher came on the radio, said, I so wanted to wreck him. Glad he didn't.
There he is. He pushed the issue here, but still backed out of it. But again, he's on the inside. He's controlling who's pushing the tempo.
Every position matters, too, because points very important for the guys in front of Christopher Bell right now. Austin Cindric looking for points as he is way down the list. But you get points at the end of each stage. And right now, Justin Allgaier, we mentioned him winning stage 1, got 10 points for that win, all the way down to 10th place, gets 1 point. Well, Justin Allgaier trying to get now, it will be his 20th point already of the race if he's able to continue on and win this stage as the battle continues between John Hunter Nemechek and Austin Cindric on the right side of your screen for that 2nd spot.
Bell's going to try to just stay really low right here.
Allgaier won the stage, and the battle for 2nd goes to John Hunter Nemechek. Cindric is 3rd. Bell patiently 4th. Daniel Hemrick ends up in 5th. Playoff contenders. Cole Custer was 6th. Tyler Reddick 7th. Matt Tifft was able to come back and end up in the 9th position on the end of stage 2. Justin Allgaier coming in said he was in a must-win situation. He's doing everything he needs to do. a very spirited battle for second place between John Hunter Nemechek and Austin Cindric, and we listen into the 22 team communications.
Not going to get pushed around. All right, I'm done with these guys. Listen, I hear you, bud, but we got a lot of race left here. You're doing a hell of a job. That was good fight right there. Nice car control.
Not sure I see it that same exact way, Rick.
Justin Allgaier bringing the field onto pit road. Parker.
Austin Cindric finished second in the first stage, third in that stage. You heard the discussion there with Brian Wilson. Brian also said, hey, can you be as loose as you are now for a very long run? He said, yes, we were great in the last 20 laps of that stage. It'll be 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel in the 22. No adjustments, Kelly.
John Hunter Nemechek led the first 20 laps of this race, but now he says the 42 car is just too free on exit, and he's too snug in 3 and 4. And he said, I could run the apron if I could get down there, but I just can't. Need more drive off. It's going to be 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, Dave.
Justin Allgaier will get a chassis adjustment and Sunoco fuel that can carry him about 88 laps under green, Marty.
Christopher Bell says, I'm pretty free starting off the run, but I need to be a little bit more turning at the end of the run. An air pressure adjustment trying to free up that car for Christopher Bell. They gained 3 spots on pit road last time. I believe they'll gain 2 this time, Rick.
Yeah, another good stop for Bell's team. John Hunter Nemechek actually wins the race off of pit road. Allgaier losing 4 spots on pit road.
A great day and a great way to watch racing. 8 drivers came in with a chance for the championship. 4 will be eliminated this afternoon. The remaining 4 will race for the title next Saturday, beginning at 3:30 p.m. Eastern at Homestead right here on NBC and NBCSN. Of course, that is also the story tomorrow. 8 coming in, 4 eliminated. 4 former champions are not safe, including Kevin Harvick. A penalty last week means he comes into Phoenix, his very best track, having to make a statement. And that's what he did last spring when he won the race, pointed to his car and said, all you haters, I see you. He won the pole here so far, by the way, this weekend, trying to join Joey Logano. The Connecticut native is in. Who joins him? Kyle, Kevin, Kurt, Martin, Chase, Clint, Eric. So many great storylines. We'll see them tomorrow. But we still have a race, Rick, to finish here today.
Yeah, Krista, things shook up a little bit on pit road. So now John Hunter Nemechek has chosen the inside line for the restart.
Christopher Bell got a good start on the outside. Got hit by Cindric.
Got a little bit loose. Look at all of them diving into turn 1, 3 wide.
Justin Allgaier got a great run from the 3rd row on the inside. He's 3 wide for second, but look at the 20th Bell roll the top as the 7 gets loose on the bottom.
He's going to make a move for the lead, going to get underneath Nemechek.
All he needed to do was win the race. Well, to start the final stage, Christopher Bell tried to take the lead on the first lap of the final stage. He wasn't able to take that spot away. We'll see if he's now got anything for the 42. On the left side of your screen, you see the playoffs standings, how they're running on the track. The 7 of Justin Allgaier, those 20 points that he got from winning stage 1 and stage 2 have put him above the cut line by 18 points above his teammate, the 1. And around goes the 66. Ogata also is rolling, but no caution.
Oh, you're good here. Keep going.
He's going to come back out onto the track, though. We'll see if he gets back up to speed. Mention the points on the left. Elliott Sadler 18 points back from Justin Allgaier.
They haven't mentioned much about Matt Tiff, but he came in 14 points back as well.
There you go, Rick. You mentioned it. The points earned in the stage. Justin Allgaier, those 20 points were huge because you just said Elliott Sadler, his name is not on the list. He got that damage to the right front fender. He's outside the top 10. And because of that, he is well below the cutoff line currently. It's a new NASCAR. These stage racing and these stage points, you just can't have a bad day, recover, and have a good finish and go on your way. You are penalized for a bad run throughout the race. And if you're Justin Allgaier, you are rewarded for a good run. And here is Elliott Sadler back here. The right front fender looks somewhat patched up. He's just trying to fight his way through traffic, currently 17th.
And clearly just not the speed he needs. Kelly.
Yeah, and during that stage break, Elliott was asking his team just how far out they are, so he knows the situation. When I talked to him today, he said the only thing he has done differently this week is that he has been looking at motivational videos on YouTube, and he wasn't joking. He said they've been really helpful, even getting some pep talk from Denzel Washington. So given this situation and the deficit he now has to make up, see if he's channeling some of those inner positive thoughts right now.
Kelly, you should see if Kevin Mendering has any piped in from on top of the pit box. Maybe he could find one, get his...
He's going to need it.
Well, with 97 laps to go, everyone in the field has to pit again. So we don't know. We don't know where the yellers are going to come. We have seen absolute chaos at the end of some of these races. So right now, to your point, Rick, it doesn't look good, but still a long way to go.
You mentioned Kevin Mendering's name, and he was a part of the big story with Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus splitting at season's end. Kevin Mendering will actually be crew chief for Jimmy Johnson. So you think about the experience that Elliott Sadler has on the box. They think enough of him that he will be Jimmy Johnson's next crew chief.
That 20 close getting into one, didn't he, Jeff? He is not afraid to enter the corner.
You can see where the speed is. Right here. He rolls the middle, gains ground. A lot of times you see that and the car in front will pull away, but Christopher Bell is able to break even on corner exit.
Why is this position so important? If you see on the left side of your screen, the number 20 is currently 7th in the playoff standings, 32 points back. He has to win this race. If he's able to get by the 42, get up front, points don't matter for him. He has to win the race.
With 95 to go, he's going to do everything he can to pass John Hunter Nemechek clean. But remember, we saw Joe Logano move Martin Truex Jr. at Martinsville. We have seen aggressive moves. If this is the only path for Christopher Bell, his morals may be tested as this race comes to a close.
So back to the battle for the lead. Watch Christopher Bell. He's changed his approach. Enters turn 1. Remember that restart that we just saw him run the top? Look at what he's trying. He drives in the middle of the racetrack, leaving just like on that restart, using all the racetrack. The first guy up there was Bell, and he learned it on the restart. Now he's applying it during the race.
And drivers like him are so much fun to watch. They bring creativity to a new level, and it's going to be rewarded as he gets inside the 42 off turn 4.
Huge run, and here comes Bell for the lead. Can he clear him as they go into turn 1? Christopher Bell hasn't completely cleared John Hunter Nemechek yet. Out of turn 2, down the backstretch they go, and now Christopher Bell in front.
And look what that does to the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Looked so good. We just talked about those points earned in the stage. Well, now currently running in the 4th position, winning both stages, and that may not be enough. 3 points out.
And the slow pit stop. They had a slow pit stop, came in leading, decided to make some changes on the car. That slow pit stop put them back into 4th. Is a little bit faster race car worth spending extra time on pit road to make adjustments and lose in track position? Only time will tell for Allgaier.
Think about Junior Motorsports also entering this round of 8 with 3 drivers in the championship hunt, and right now the possibility exists Tyler Reddick is the only one that might advance. Marty.
Man, the game has changed now with Bell in the lead. 91 to go, and the last chance for these drivers to get to Miami with a chance to win the title. You're watching the battle for 7th right now. Tyler Reddick has it. Here's a conversation with he and his crew chief, Dave Ellens, about points before this restart.
Right now, you're 5 points ahead of the 7. You know, he's running 5th, so if you stay right there, you're good. You know, you fall back a little bit, you just got to be ahead of the 21. You know, and that's provided the 20 wins the race.
Steve, this is where it gets busy for you crew chiefs down here. A lot of math going on. Everybody trying to calculate it. It's on the left. Just 3 points. 3 positions throughout the year could keep the best car, the regular season champion, Justin Allgaier, out of a shot to win the title.
Well, Marty, and let's remember, with 89 laps to go, all these cars are going to have to come to pit road. When will that yellow come? Will a yellow come? We saw 2 tires used in the truck race. Will a crew chief gamble? Will Jason Burdett say, I'll take track position? Will Dave Ellens gamble and try to get the 9 more track position? A lot still to come with 89 laps to go, Rick.
And crew chief, I know that we're about 88 laps is what we think they can go on fuel. We're almost into that window of if a caution does come out, they come to pit road, they could make it the rest of the way. Well, Christopher Bell is trying to check out on his competition up front.
Welcome back to ISM Raceway here in Phoenix. We've got a great battle for the playoffs shaping up here, but there's lots of stories on the track, like the 3-car there driven by Shane Lee. On Tuesday, it is Race to Give Day at the Children's Institute for Pediatric Trauma. Now, Richard and Judy Childress co-founded that institute in 2008. It's raised awareness, push for research and advocacy that help reduce pediatric trauma by 25%. You can learn a whole lot more at SaveInjuredKids.org and SaveInjuredKids.org/give, so you can help out on Tuesday with Race to Give Day. Lots of great stories riding around this track, guys.
Richard Childress done such a great job, he and his wife Judy, with that foundation. Raised a lot of money, a lot of awareness. Very committed to it.
Justin Allgaier, after losing 4 spots on pit road, is now running in the 4th position behind Daniel Hemrick And you see on the right or the left side of your screen, 3 points still below the cutoff line for that championship 4.
So this is what's fascinating to me about this system, where there's some points to go get. So Daniel Hemrick, 7 points to the good. Justin Allgaier understands that. He understands if he can get to him, push the issue, Hemrick's not going to fight him. Like, it's not in Hemrick's best interest to make that fight. So Justin Allgaier's job right now is to get to him, put some pressure on him, because Hemrick will just get out of the way. He cannot get in a street fight with Justin Allgaier right now.
But, Jeff, here's the balance that Justin has to have. He talked to me this morning about running 100%, not 102 or 103 to 105. He said that could get us in trouble today. So giving it all but trying not to overdo it.
And that is difficult. But he is smart, just like Christopher Bell. Justin Allgaier possesses that ability to pace himself as well. He knows how many laps there are to go, but it's becoming more difficult for him because Austin Cindric has run him down. He can't afford to get past. He's going to have to push the issue. See John Hunter Nemechek right in front of him. Everybody knows that John Hunter is very aggressive. He's not going to give this spot up, but Allgaier cannot tiptoe around him. He's going to have to go take this spot.
It's been a great season already for Justin Allgaier, as right now he's running in the 4th position, chasing down John Hunter Nemechek, but still outside of the championship 4. He talked about how excited he was that this season has been incredible, and the emotions that came out when he won at Indianapolis and told the story about how his dad used to bring him to Indianapolis to watch races and spending time with his father, who, by the way, Mike, his father, has never missed a race that Justin Allgaier has run in. Never. Since he was running as a kid, all the way through a championship in the ARCA series, and now up in Xfinity trying to win a championship here. Mike has been to every single race.
He's quickly switching from offense to defense, Jeff. That 22 just seems to be getting through the middle of the corner a little better than the 7.
And Matt Tifft behind him. He's starting to run these guys down as well. Parker.
And guys, you know, Matt Tifft is a great example of how tough these playoffs are, because if you think about his day today, he entered 14 points below the cut line. He finished 6th in the first stage. He got a speeding penalty after that. Had to work all the way from the back to finish 9th in the second stage, and now he finds himself 20 points out running in the 6th position. You can't even have a good day. You have to be great in these playoffs if you want to compete for. Oh, wow, the 22 and the 7 get very close.
More contact, and it's the common denominator right now is the 22 of Austin Cindric.
It's been the common denominator of the entire playoffs. I mean, the 22 and the 7 have not worked well together. This has cost us 7 points, but at this point in the season, I don't think he has any choice but to continue to push it.
But you heard that comment from Cindric. Cindric said, I'm not going to let these guys push me around. He feels like he has to be aggressive, that maybe they're not showing him respect. I didn't see it that way again on that one, but Cindric is feeling like he's going to have to assert himself. But Allgaier can't let him. He's not in the position where he can just back up and give these spots up. See Cindric right here on the bottom trying to make a move, got loose.
Well, now in the bottom right, you see that the 7 is putting the pressure on the 42. I think, like you said, he feels the pressure to go forward. He needs to get out of that hornet's nest.
And really, that puts a car between he and that 22, and you see the 2 car getting underneath Cindric as well.
Hand out the window. What's going on?
It's just frustration. It's just so frustrating. You feel like you're racing clean and everybody's running you hard. Man, you know I need this spot, but they don't care about you. You know what I mean? They're racing their race. The guy right now that's impressing me is Matt Tifft. Through all of this, he has caught this group, and now he's got by Cindric. Let's see what he can do with John Hunter.
And Tifft, another driver in the playoffs, but must-win situation right now. 19 points below the cutoff line for the championship 4. Austin Cindric following behind that 2. Christopher Bell is out front. He has a 2-second lead, and again, coming into the race, knew it was a must-win situation. He's doing everything he possibly can. Sunday Night Football is an NFC East showdown as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys will visit Carson Wentz and the Eagles at Football Night in America at 7 and kickoff at 8:20 p.m. only on NBC. Whelen trusted to perform 200 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 67 laps to go to determine the championship 4, who will be fighting for a title in Miami next week. And right now, Christopher Bell running up front, Marty.
Yes, he is, from the 38 spot to the lead for Christopher Bell. They asked him a moment ago, have we made the car better with the changes? He said yes, but I can't stand to be any freer at the beginning part of a run. The interesting thing, green flag stops coming, how you execute those could mean everything as to whether or not you have a shot to win the title. Behind him, Daniel Hemrick in second place. He said, I was so excited the first time I came to this racetrack to get to a short track, but I struggled my first time here, Dave. It took me a long time to get the feel I needed at Phoenix, but he has it now, Parker.
Matt Tifft, guys, this is quite a run for him. He's all the way up to 3rd place, restarting this stage in 7th. And you know, I talked to his crew chief, Randall Burnett, before the race, and he said, if the opportunity presents itself, we will get very aggressive with strategy. I want to see what strategy these guys employ going forward, Dave.
2 laps ago, Justin Allgaier said, oh, and spin right in front of him. Look out for the 13.
13 sideways, sliding across the track. That's on the backstretch, and so Tyler Hill will bring out the caution. And we'll see if Tyler's going to try to back that car up and get it to pit road. You see that he has at least the right rear tire is down.
You see without interliners how low that sits. It sits all the way down on the wheel. Makes it even more difficult. He's getting it going right front as well.
Right front's down as well.
Took a long slide.
See, spinning. Look who's behind him. You heard Dave. He saw all this going on, and we were just talking about Matt Tifft, Allgaier, Cindric right in front of those guys. Dave would not make a good spotter.
I think he would have been calmer. He would have been calmer, I think, when he was calling out if he was a spotter. But what? Yeah, contact again.
Blue. All I saw was blue.
Again, the 22 of Cindric got into the back of the 7 here.
I mean, look at this. Great job. Down. Really good job by Allgaier to keep from wrecking right there.
Well, it was exciting on the racetrack. Now, what's the saying? It's a team sport. Well, now the teams are going to have their chance. Come down to pit road.
Talking about those pit crews.
Yeah, and 63 to go, Rick. I think the decision's pretty straightforward in my mind. It's 4 tires. There's not a lot of opportunity for strategy here. It's really more important going to be a clean stop. And what are your adjustments? If you're a crew chief, you've had 137 laps. You've worked on your car. What's that last adjustment you can give your driver that's going to make the difference over these last 63 laps?
Think about Matt Tifft. We just started talking about Matt Tifft. Haven't talked much about him prior to that. But Matt Tifft now pitting in 3rd. Can his pit crew deliver? Can they, in this big moment, step up to the plate? He has the speed on a long run. He might could win this race and put himself into the playoffs. The door is open for these guys.
Well, you said speed, and instantly, Mr. Negativity, perhaps me, I think of speeding. Matt Tifft already had an issue earlier today with speeding on pit road. Which driver is going to make that mistake? Which pit crew? I know we need good pit stops, but there's still, what, 17, 18, about 21 cars on the lead lap. So if there's any sort of issue right now, I'm not sure there's enough time to recover.
Elliott Sadler right now in 13th. What kind of a huge strategy move can you play with Elliott Sadler? Because he's in a tough situation right now, 20 points below the cut line.
I think you have to just take 4 tires and hope the race comes to you on these final laps, Parker.
And guys, I'm not surprised to see this performance out of Matt Tifft because short tracks have been his strength. He finished 5th at Richmond earlier this year. They're going to do 4 Goodyear tires and loosen this 2 car up a little bit in Sunoco fuel. Kelly?
Elliott Sadler said the last adjustment fixed some of the tightness in the 1 car, but now he said he is just extremely loose off, and Steve Letarte was right. It's going to be 4 Goodyear tires, a chassis adjustment, and Sunoco fuel for Elliott Sadler, Dave.
Near disaster for Justin Allgaier. He slid into his pit. Fortunately, that right rear tire is over the line and in his box. The crew can go to work, Marty.
Last set of sticker tires for all of these teams. Christopher Bell said, I'm getting tight rolling the center at the end of the run, but I can't stand to be any freer at the beginning of the run. They hold serve here on pit road. They come in with a lead. They will leave with a lead, Rick.
Very tough racetrack and an equally tough pit road. See the race off of pit road. The top 3 hold their spots. Look at this. Sliding into his stall, Justin Allgaier. Next week, NASCAR crowns all 3 series champions, and the only place you can witness it in person, Miami. So don't miss out on the action and excitement, as the season of outstanding racing is going to come down to one memory-filled weekend. Visit NASCAR.com/tickets to purchase your tickets for championship weekend. Restarts have been, well, colorful to say the least.
We're getting ready to see more of this, and with only 59 to go, I expect to see it even get more aggressive than this. If you can imagine, it can happen, but getting to the end of this race, people are going to be forced to do things kind of out of character.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple to get to the flat. It's this end of the straightaway where you have to get back on the racetrack. We've seen a lot of give and take. The guy on the outside kind of letting the guy go. Will they do that with only 59 to go?
Christopher Bell has chosen the inside line for this restart. Green flag back in the air.
Watch Matt Tifft in that green and yellow car. Watch what he does. Keep your eye, because he's got to make something happen.
Outside 21. Still in line by half out back. Still there 21 quarter.
Way down on the apron is John Hunter Nemechek in the 42.
Still 1.5. 1.5.
Trying the shortest distance. Now the battle for second is Matt Tifft trying to hold off Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick on the outside, and he will lose another spot. He drops to third.
I think that's okay, though. I think Daniel Hemrick, 11 points to the good right now. Don't get into a fight. Let a guy that's got to be more aggressive than you, let him go. You've got good room behind you. Smart racing by Daniel.
Know the situation, right?
Yes.
The 20 has to win. The 2 has to win. Not the type of guys you want to be racing, right?
No.
Hey, I don't need to win, guys. Just I'm going to just take my little safe spot right here and finish this race.
And the 2 cars that have to win are running 1 and 2 right now. And there's a spin in turn 3, the 60.
And in front of that, the 42.
Ty Majeski, and damage to the front of the 7.
Yeah, the right front.
wheel.
Big damage to the 7 right there. He'll be absolutely be able to continue, but
Get some tape around, guys.
There you go. You heard Jason Burdett, calm, taking control. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pit. We're going to pull that out, get the tape ready, come up with a plan.
That's a lot of damage, though, Steve.
How much does that affect the handling of the car, Steve?
That is no longer a winning race car. That right front damage right there. Your #1 goal, there's Jason Burdett right there. #1 goal is make sure the tire doesn't rub.
We're going to have to do some cutting here, Billy. Get your cutter ready.
There you go. We're going to remove some fender. That hurts downforce. At this point, it is don't take your set. You can't go back and redo that moment, right? There was an accident. So get the fender cleared so you can continue in the race. I mean, we're not even to 50 to go yet. We knew this was going to continue to get aggressive. I think it will.
And again, the caution came out for the 60 of Ty Majeski. That was in turns 3 and 4. You see the 60 right here in the middle. Shane Lee in the 3 got him.
Looks like short track racing, right? Shane Lee thought he was inside the 60. The 60 obviously thought he was going to have the bottom.
3 panned inside to left front.
3 wide, turn 3 at Phoenix is never going to work. Then look at this. I mean, that's what I looked up. I saw Nemechek completely sideways and didn't understand how he was still rolling forward. We just saw right there. Crazy. Get another shot of that.
How's this all happen?
Down low. Got spin behind you.
Oh, but now he gets the 42 and the left rear quarter panel turns him into the 7.
Well, like the 42 may have had an issue off the corner. So right here, 42 way up the racetrack, kind of checks up.
Oh, I think the 42 is going to have to come to pit road as hard as it was hitting the left front. I mean, look at this. That's pretty hard contact.
42 is lucky the 7 was there.
And the caution was just coming out for the 60 when this happened. You see the lights flashing.
See right there, the 42 way up the racetrack. Just stacked up behind him. Allgaier, nothing to do with that. But damage even didn't matter. Still had damage. Dave.
Well, here comes Justin Allgaier. They debated actually staying out because he rolled by the spotter stand to a spotter, Eddie DeHunt, and said, I'm going to swerve this car. You tell me what you see in terms of tire rubbing or the splitter. He said the splitter wasn't too hard on the track, so that was another reason he considered staying out. But you can see the damage pretty extensive, and so Jason Burdett, the crew chief, said, just bring it down. We need to take a look at it.
And the crew goes to work, wanting to keep everything on the car as long as it's not affecting, if it's rubbing a tire or something like that, Steve.
Absolutely, Rick. Absolutely. You want to have as much there. You can no longer add parts and pieces, so you got to try to work with everything there before you cut anything off. Have a good plan.
Christopher Bell still up front, but he'll have a restart in front of him to stay in that position. "51 laps remaining. And now Christopher Bell will once again have to defend his lead on a restart. On the outside, Matt Tifft.
Matt Tifft got a great launch. Now nobody on the racetrack.
Side 21, 3 mid, 3 mid.
Contact.
3 mid. Clear low, outside.
Hemrick gets into the back of the 2. Hemrick got the 2 loose as they went through 1 and 2. Smoke behind him.
How about the 19 of Brandon Jones working himself to the front?
Justin Allgaier is in the middle of the whole mess back there.
And 14 points below the cutoff line. Tyler Reddick running in 7th. He's 12 points in front of Allgaier.
I like it. Minus 12, right? No more time to be conservative. Wreck, we're 11 points. You have to find them somewhere with 50 to go.
Each position is a point. The problem is that Tyler Reddick running 7th, he can only gain potentially 5 points if he moves up to even 2nd. If he steals the top spot away from Christopher Bell, that's an automatic berth into the championship 4 in Miami.
And Rick, you asked about how bad that damage was in the 7. I thought it was going to really hurt the performance. So far, looks pretty good. And another issue, battle for the lead is heating up, Jeff.
Yeah, we've assumed the 20 is just going to win this race because he's been so fast. Daniel Hemrick has a different thought. If the 20 does not win, chaos again with the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
he would be out.
Daniel Hemrick wants to win this race to get his first win, but wouldn't he love to take Christopher Bell out of Miami with a chance to win a championship, Marty?
That's exactly the point. They've told him, hey, this is their shot to take out one of their most fierce competitors for the title in Christopher Bell. And Hemrick's been getting pretty good, especially early in the run, and that's where Bell struggles. Too free early in the run, but he is so good at the end of the run. So Daniel Hemrick knows his time to pounce is right now.
You know who Daniel Hemrick's biggest fan is right now? Justin Allgaier.
Yes.
Because if he can move the 20 out of the lead, then the 7 moves up because the 20 goes back basically to the bottom.
And right now, Allgaier, again, in the 5th position points-wise in the playoff standings. He's 9 points now behind Tyler Reddick. And a lot of smoke rolling out from underneath the 8. Tommy Joe Martins, and the caution has come out again.
There's smoke in here.
And Christopher Bell is like, not another restart.
Again. And contact was made between Christopher Bell and Tift earlier, and Hemrick got into Tift. So the top 3, very aggressive. Would you call this a short track?
Yes,
ISM?
absolutely.
It's a mile. You're calling it a short track.
Brake ducts
want to
open.
make sure. This is short track racing then.
100%.
A little bumping and banging taking place. Everyone fighting for every spot on the racetrack. Go NASCAR nonstop. Make sure to tune in to NASCAR America on NBCSN 5 o'clock on weekdays. They will sum up what took place over the weekend and get you ready for the next race. Coming up this week, it will be preparing for the championship weekend in Miami. Christopher Bell has had a very eventful day, and I say day because it started in qualifying where they never got through technical inspection to get out on the racetrack.
You see the work continue. It took him multiple times through. Driver finally knows he's not going to get a shot. He goes to the hauler, gives a great interview, says he's ready to go, and he starts in the back of the field, Jeff.
Yeah, look at this scene that he's looking at, knowing he's got to come through the pack and win this race, but methodically, smartly, Christopher Bell used that fast race car, worked himself through with no damage, no enemies made, worked himself to the front.
And he's been out front and has been able to defend that lead on multiple restarts. Maybe took a little air off the spoiler of the 22 there, Austin Cindric. And then ultimately the pass for the lead was by the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek.
And then this battle, Tiff and his teammate Daniel Hemrick, and all this stacks up behind them, and that's what we said a little while ago. Bell did not want to see this caution, these restarts. They're just crazy. I mean, something eventually is going to happen, and Bell doesn't want to be him.
Well, you talk about the crazy restarts. They happen down the front stretch, through the dog leg, and guess where all the speedy dry is, Rick?
Well, let's see. Front stretch.
Through the dog leg.
Through the dog leg.
That's the perfect shot right there. You heard Rutledge mention earlier from the spotter stand how difficult it was to judge that entrance to turn one. Now you get a little dust cloud from the speedy dry, question the traction. Oh, this is the makings to be very exciting, Rick.
Nothing happened to this racetrack, by the way, as we're watching them work their way around the track. The racetrack still the same. It was repaved a few years ago, but the inside and the grandstand areas took a huge renovation, $178 million spent on the renovation here. New cup garages. Everything is fan friendly now. Everything to make the fan experience even better at this racetrack.
It's a modern facility now. Been to several NFL stadiums, and this matches up to it. The suites are unbelievably nice. The seats are great. They have their own cup holders. Have Wi-Fi in all the seats. Yep. Great job.
Yeah, fans can actually, after a ticket purchase, they can actually go down and be in victory lane and celebrate with the race winner. I see a number of them right now that are there already waiting to see the winning car make it into victory lane. But those are fans that are just able to experience victory lane. This is a place like nowhere else.
So what's the order? Is it seat, margarita bar, victory lane? Because it's all right. That's kind of the transition as you walk through the pedestrian channel. Look, the fans, they're ready. That's a great place to be because whoever ends up there, they're always in a good mood. So if you're a fan, that's the place to hang out.
I don't think there's a wrong sequence. As long as the margarita bar is involved, I think you can't mess that up.
Yeah, it's
like I said, a fan experience. It is. It's getting better.
In the garages here, if you want to go, if you ever wonder what happened in the garages in the Cup Series, you can walk right in the garages. I mean, literally, you are in the garage as a fan.
Yeah.
There's our place right there. We'll be there a little bit.
Just a few feet from the cars and the crew as they're working in those garages. Parker, where are you?
Oh, I'm in the pits right now.
Okay.
Rick,
we saw the modern margarita and was just checking.
I was just about to head there, and then they called me back here to talk about Matt Tiff. But you know what? I'm in his pits because he had a great restart there in the outside lane, but now he's be restarting in third on the bottom lane, which I think is going to be the good place to be. He's going to be able to use that inside and get to the inside maybe of Christopher Bell and Daniel Hemrick. And he told me in practice yesterday he actually did a little evaluation between running through the dogleg or cutting it. And he said when you cut it, it was worth a whole car and being able to clear those cars on the outside. I also asked him today, if you're in position, what do you do? He said, you do whatever it takes to win this race, Kelly.
Elliott Sadler wants his final NASCAR race to count for the championship next week in Homestead, but he knows he's got his work cut out for him.
Never know what will happen here. Right now we're 10 points behind the 7 and 6 with the 20 lead, so anything can happen here. All right, 10-4, man. Yeah, man, I know. We've all tried. We keep after it.
Okay, Elliott has since been updated with the correct points now, and he knows that if the 20 car falls out of the lead, that he'll be battling his own teammate, Justin Allgaier, for a spot in the Championship 4, Dave.
And surely you all didn't give up on Justin Allgaier. Even though he got that damage, he is back up to speed, and he went from 21st to 9th on that run. Now just 8 points back as they run, and that picture gets better if the 20 car doesn't win, Marty.
Dave, remember what Daniel Hemrick told me earlier this week when he said, we've done 95% of the things right. That last 5%, that's what we're missing. That's why we don't have that first win of 2018. Well, the time for that final 5% is right now. 40 laps to go, sitting in second. Danny Stockman asked him a moment ago, how's the car? His response, the best it's been all day long. Christopher Bell has either taken the lead or held serve with the lead on 3 straight restarts. This fourth one, holding off that 21 car, might be the toughest one, Rick.
And just 2 rows back, the 20-year-old from Mooresville, North Carolina, in the 22, Austin Cindric. This is radio communications just moments ago from their team.
If the 21 wins, we're good right now. Really, the 20 and the 7 are the only ones that can kind of make it to where we have to pass the 21. Anybody else that wins besides those 2, we're okay because we're ahead of the 1 car.
So here's what we got. We got Christopher Bell has to win. He's sitting there on the pole. Hemrick, he needs to be cool here, not have anything bad go wrong. Tift has to win in 3rd. Brandon Jones, nothing to lose. He wants to win. Cindric, he's been in the middle of stuff all day long. This restart's going to be nuts.
Must win for Cindric as well. A lot of cars up front in a must-win situation.
Look at Tift in that car in 3rd. He got a good launch. He's going to try to get underneath Bell. Bell's going to block.
Almost sideways was the 2 as they went through the dog leg. And the 20 of Christopher Bell out front, but up the racetrack he goes.
That is so aggressive. How about Allgaier on the very bottom?
All clear, 1.5.
Allgaier, even with the damage on the right front, still fighting. 37 laps to go from ISM Raceway. Again, that's the speedy dry that you're seeing.
First time they ran through it, because the last time they went through there all below it on the apron.
I don't see now. Just
Speaking of the apron.
Yeah.
I mean, Allgaier's 2 car widths off the racetrack.
And when do patience run out? When do you get aggressive?
It's gone.
Yeah,
Heard Allgaier downshift right there.
There you go, Rick. This is when you get aggressive. 4 cars, none of them on the racetrack, all down in the bottom of the dogleg. Justin Allgaier once again trying to use that apron. And here's Tyler Reddick in the 9 underneath the 22.
Bell has a half a second lead over Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick and Tift, they've got their hands full right now fighting for second.
And Reddick needs to recognize his situation as well. Right now, 9 points to the good to move on to Miami with a chance to win the championship. He doesn't need to get into a fight.
Still there, door.
Here, Cole Custer, as we ride along in that helmet cam, gingerly getting back into the gas.
Not missing anything up front. Bell's about 5 car lengths ahead of Hemrick.
Hemrick has a little advantage over Tift now as well. Hemrick, who's running second in the 21 car, he's still looking for his first ever win in the Xfinity Series. So that's something that will make him extra hungry.
Yeah, Hemrick, Tift, Cindric, all looking for their first win.
Well, and the leader, Christopher Bell, has 6 wins this year. 6 wins, and yet
he has to have a 7.
Right. If he wants to race for a championship, he must win.
It's gonna be a long 33 laps.
Tyler Reddick running just in front of Justin Allgaier.
He's right along with Allgaier. Listen to him shift. Lifts. That was the downshift. You heard the RPMs go into the engine. There was the upshift. Now he's in 4th gear. He's going to drive into turn 3. Listen again. Downshift right before he goes back to the throttle.
That's so impressive. These ratios are controlled by NASCAR. There's a certain rule And this is a much larger split than you would ever want to put in a transmission when they're planning to shift. So what Justin Allgaier is doing is even more impressive to not upset the race car making these shifts.
That's why he's waiting so long to do it. He's trying to get the car slowed down as much as he can. And so you can't even really hear him shifting. It sounds like he's just going back to the throttle. Downshift, throttle. It's almost at the same time. If he downshifted too early, it would wheel hop it, blow the motor up, all kinds of things go bad. So really nice job by Allgaier managing this situation.
Again, we watch the playoff points on the left side of the screen. Cole Custer with his win a week ago has locked him into the championship 4. The 20 now leading this race with a win will lock himself into the championship 4. Daniel Hemrick still searching for a win, 11 points above the cutoff line. Tyler Reddick currently 4th in the point standings, the final of the championship 4. And Tyler Reddick started the season on the biggest high you can, winning at Daytona, but then has not found victory lane again throughout the season. Marty.
29 laps stand between Christopher Bell and a shot to win the title at Miami next week. And Steve, not talked about very much, but these crew chiefs have to go through it, and that's car rotation. So the car that Christopher Bell has today is the car that won Richmond twice. Jeff talked about that earlier this day, and this is a car they're very confident in. The car they wanted to take to Miami got wrecked at Texas. Another car they thought about taking to Miami got wrecked at Kansas. So this team has lost 2 cars they wanted to take to Miami, so they've had to scramble a little bit. They have another car they're confident in, but when that primary car that you want to take, Steve, gets wrecked, it changes the game for a team, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, you lay those out. It takes weeks to get a car prepared, so you have to work far enough ahead of time. But first, they got to finish the last 27 laps here to make sure that race at Miami's worth the championship, Rick.
Christopher Bell out front has led 67 laps as we go NASCAR nonstop. And we've watched the 7 of Justin Allgaier fall spots. Fall spot after spot. Now Allgaier running in the 10th position, falling back even further He has gone all the way into 14th, Dave. And fire,
you
on,
see
the
fire
right
on the right front. That's right. Brake problems for him. He just radioed 2 laps ago, I am out of brakes, and now you can see there's a fire on that right front.
Yeah, that tells me that the brake fluids come out, so he's either run out of pad, with the brake ducts completely taped up there with the damage or knocked off. Probably couldn't keep it cool. You see right there.
And when he said out of brakes, he is completely out of brakes at the moment.
The regular season champion, Justin Allgaier, not a part of the championship 4 right now. Outside by 15 points. No brakes. Had damage to the right front. It has not gone well for him here at Phoenix.
So you wonder about race car drivers, what they're willing to do. Here's Justin Allgaier. He's not willing to quit. He's not willing to give up. Right there, you see it's on fire. That means the brake fluids come out of it. He has no brakes whatsoever, but he's not quitting, still running around here on the racetrack. That will to win in tough situations comes out, and that's what you're seeing from Allgaier.
He won stage 1. He won stage 2, gaining the most points you can get in the first 2 stages. Needed all of that. But then when Christopher Bell got in front, it wasn't enough. He was still below the cutoff line, the elimination point where 4 drivers get eliminated. Right now, Justin Allgaier, one of those 4 drivers that could get eliminated. And he continues to fight. Flames still billowing out of the right front wheel. Now they might be out.
He just has to keep battling. Remember, because the 20 is currently the leader. If he has an issue and doesn't win this race, that moves the 7 up. And at the moment, he would still be in, although the 1 of Elliott Sadler is only 1 point behind and trying to find that 1 point with 17 to go. Parker.
And guys, Matt Tifft is so tantalizingly close to getting to the championship 4. He's in 3rd place right now. He's fallen 3 seconds behind Christopher Bell. He's just getting too tight inside that race car, but take a listen to what his spotter told him.
If you think the shortcut on the back stretch will get you faster, just got to start working it right now.
And that's it. You start grasping at straws at this point, finding anything you can. They're telling him to do everything to find a little speed in that 2 car.
As the 7 continues to fall back, we're talking about the points. 17 points separating the 9 and the 1 for that transfer spot. If for some reason the 20 were to fall out of the lead, that would put the 1 into the 4th position, and the 2 would be now down in 5th.
And you see the fire's gone out on the right front of the 7. I would assume all the brake fluid is completely gone at this point. I don't think, I mean, he doesn't have any mechanical issue that's going to make him fall out of the race. The right front tire should be fine at this point without the fire. He just can only go this fast without brakes. This is a track you use brakes at both ends. You see where they beat him so severely. He's on corner entry. He just has to lift so early, Jeff.
Yeah, if the caution came out and he had a restart, he'd be in big trouble because he couldn't drive in the corner with anybody. He can't regulate his speed on corner entry. He needs the caution to try to make something happen, but with the caution, he can't. Yeah, it's just a tough situation.
Difficult last 14 laps at ISM Raceway for Justin Allgaier as we see Tyler Reddick now.
And Rick, I've been vocal about Tyler Reddick in the 9 and having to manage these races, and he has done an excellent job. He's been in some battles today, but here he is. You mentioned it. 3 Junior Motorsports cars came into this round with a chance to move on to Miami and race for a championship, and in the current situation, the youngest of the 3 by a large margin, by at least 10 years to Justin Allgaier, Tyler Reddick, making only his 50th Xfinity start, without a doubt the most pressure-packed, yet here he is, Jeff, in position to move ahead.
As I talked to Dave Ellens about that situation, Steve, and he said, listen, I've had to calm him down a lot this year, but when it's counted in this round of 8, Tyler has certainly shown up. He's had finishes of 5th, 2nd, and now he's running 6th in the race that could put him in the championship 4. He's been very impressive in this round, Kelly.
Elliott Sadler now inside the top 10, and he knows the exact situation that he's in. He knows that he is the first car out, and should the 20 not win this race, that he has a shot at the championship 4. He wanted more than that from his spotter, Brett Griffin. He said, just how tight is that battle for the lead? Brett said, look, it's not that close. We're going to need something to happen up front, but he cannot afford to lose any positions.
And now Allgaier has gone a lap down. It's Christopher Bell. The 2 best cars all season long, the 2 best drivers all season long. And I'm sure very deflating when Justin Allgaier saw Christopher Bell go past him and put him a lap down. Justin Allgaier knowing now that those championship hopes that were alive at the start of this race and even at the end of the second stage might be drifting away.
What a job Christopher Bell in this 20 is doing as we come inside 10 laps to go. Rick, no one has ever won at this race outside the top 20. We're starting outside the top 20. He started shotgun on the field. We talked about how patient he was earlier, never put his car in a bad situation. Had some tight racing with Cindric, let him go a couple times, and look what it's done. It's paid off. This 20 looks pristine, no real damage, working 9 laps to go as the leader.
He's in great shape. He's wanting this thing to go green because if he gets that caution, remember, Hemrick's in second. Hemrick does not want to fight. He's in good shape in points, but Tift and Cindric are third and fourth, and they have to win to get themselves in. And we've seen those crazy restarts. They would be in position to push the issue and try to make something happen. Christopher Bell won this thing just to end right now in the green.
So many successful stories for Christopher Bell. The victories that he has been able to accumulate throughout the season, coming off of a Truck Series championship a year ago. So many times when you have a young driver like Christopher Bell and so much success, the talk immediately goes to what is he going to do next year? Where is he going to go? Will he be in a cup ride? Well, Christopher Bell has continued to tell people, I am a race car driver. I will drive anything, I will race anything, and I'll race anywhere. And so right now, Christopher Bell continuing to tell everyone, I'm going to be racing, and I'm going to do the best I can every single time I hit the racetrack. I am in no hurry to get to the Cup Series. Marty.
And the good thing for Joe Gibbs Racing, he's sticking in the Xfinity Series next year to get another shot at a title. He is currently 6 laps away, and it's amazing to me the poise this young 23-year-old from Oklahoma has. When I talked to him in the pre-race, he said, I'm not nervous at all about this race because this race is 200 laps. I'm used to the dirt world where our races are 40 laps. I have to get it done in such a less period of time. In those races, 200 laps is plenty of time for me to drive from 38th to the lead. He has done that, leading 89 laps and 5 laps away from a berth in that championship 4.
He's done an amazing job, but one major asset. Marty's talked all day about the veteran spotter on the roof. Also a veteran crew chief on top of the pit box. Jason Ratcliffe, 15 wins at the Cup level and 216 starts. He's worked with some of the biggest stars, yet found a point in his career where the fit was better on the Xfinity side. He has done a great job helping Christopher Bell mature to the length of these races. I think today was the perfect example. There's no doubt Christopher Bell can go fast. I think Jason Ratcliffe is single-handedly helping him understand how to make that speed last for the length of these races, Jeff.
And what about Jason Ratcliffe? You know, a guy that, you know, feels good about being in the Xfinity Series. He's a Cup crew chief, a guy that won races at the Cup level, but doesn't feel like he took a step back. He's enjoying this opportunity, loves working with Christopher Bell, doing a great job for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Well, molding him. And,
yes.
And a great mentor. I mentioned earlier the mentor in Rick Ferkel for Christopher Bell. Well, Jason Ratcliffe also a huge mentor at this level of racing. He is going to educate Christopher Bell and make him an even better racer.
And how about Joe Gibbs Racing? They've become a factory, right? They've brought crew chiefs from the Xfinity level to the Cup level. They brought engineers from the Xfinity level to the Cup level, and they've brought them back. They found a way to build a system that people want to be part of, and that says a lot.
And Rick, can you imagine coming into Phoenix in a must-win situation and perhaps in 2 laps leaving as the championship favorite? That is a major swing of momentum for the 20 car if you can finish this off.
The team that no one wanted
to
see win. This is the 20 car.
Coming back no matter what.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. And everything will reset after this race. There will be 4 drivers. The one who finishes in front of the other 3 at Miami will be the champion. And right now, Christopher Bell, as you mentioned, came into this race having to win this race. Started in 38. Battled through traffic, got a little roughed up while he was fighting for positions, but now he wins at Phoenix. He will be in the championship 4.
All in a day's work, man. All in a day's work. Nice work, fellas. Sherwood, if you're listening, this one's for you, buddy. Let's go get ourselves a championship.
Rick, here's the thing. Are you
Nice
surprised?
work, guys. Good car.
I mean, I'm not surprised at Christopher Bell. We said it all week. Said it on NASCAR America. We talked about this race, that Christopher Bell could come here and win the race. He's that good.
Well, I think the one thing that surprises me from this race would have to be what Justin Allgaier had to go through. I mean, winning stage 1 and stage 2, it looked as though Allgaier had done the right things as far as points go, and then the damage to the right front. The other car that was able to drive their way into the championship 4, the 21 of Daniel Hemrick. And right now, the way the points are, the 9 of Tyler Reddick will be the 4th championship 4 contender in Miami. And what a day Tyler Reddick had. Wasn't flashy, nothing spectacular, but coming in, he knew exactly what he had to do. Went out, executed, and now he will have a chance at a championship. As you see Christopher Bell grabbing the checkered flag. Actually, he's going to tell the flagman, give it to one of those fans that are up there in the grandstand. That's very cool. Rutledge, you've caught up with the race winner.
I sure have, Rick. Christopher Bell came in, had to win that, started 38th, restart after restart. You made it through. You, my friend, have a chance to go to Homestead and fight for that championship. Congratulations.
Man, that's never sounded sweeter before in my life. And I'll be honest, after Kansas and Texas, I kind of just accepted that we weren't going to be able to get there, and just came over here with a let's have fun attitude, and to start in the back, and we didn't really make our way up front that fast. I kind of got stalled out once I got into the top 15, and I knew this thing was really fast because yesterday in practice, it was really good, and then that clean air just meant so much. My pit crew did an outstanding job. Jason kept making this thing better and better, but we're going to Homestead, baby. It feels good to get GameStop a win. I feel bad, you know, we've won 6 times, or 7 now, but all 6 times has been Ream or Rude, and every time we got GameStop on the car, it seems like we've crashed. But thankful that I ran good for them today and got them in victory lane, and just thankful for my team. Without them, they brought probably our best car that we've had all year here this weekend, and it's a pleasure to drive them, and our race car driver is only as good as his race car. So this thing was unbelievably fast, and I'm really thankful I get to drive her.
What do you want to say to these amazing fans out here for that show you put on?
I just hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I say it every week that we race for the fans. If the fans don't come out, then we're out of a job. So thank you guys for coming out. It's going to be a hell of a show in Homestead.
Christopher Bell, your winner today, guys. He is going to Miami for a shot at that championship.
And a masterful race car driver in Christopher Bell. The 23-year-old swept the Richmond races this year. Short tracks, the 1.5 miles at Kentucky, able to get a win. New Hampshire and Iowa wins. Dover, the Monster Mile, he was able to take it there as well. And now when he had to win to get into the championship 4, he comes to ISM and wins again. Tomorrow, the Monster Energy Cup Series will have their Championship 4 determined on NBC. It starts off with NASCAR America pre-race show at 1:30, countdown to green at 2, and 2:30 the green flag will fly for that race here in the desert. Post-race coverage at 6 o'clock on NBCSN Victory Lap as well. For more post-race coverage from here, you can log on to NBCSports.com. as the 20 of Christopher Bell has now made his way into, I'm guessing, one of the more popular victory lanes, especially for the fans, as they're right there with you, Marty.
About 500 fans down here, Rick. This is such a cool scene. All the team is here as well, and Christopher with that 7th win of the season, and what a timely win for this race team, knowing he had to win this race, sharing a moment with Jason Ratcliffe, Steve D'Souza, the man who runs the Xfinity Series operations for Joe Gibbs Racing, kind of soaking this one in. Christopher, you can get out if you want. Time to celebrate with a race team who's going to go run for a championship in Miami. Christopher Bell, win number 7 of 2018. And let me tell you, there's a lot of Gatorade flying down here from everywhere. Hey, I got to know, you were so calm when we talked before the race. It didn't seem to faze you at all that you had to win this race. Biggest win in your NASCAR career, you think?
Absolutely. Just, you know, the pressure was on, and, you know, I'm just... You're going to hold stuff.
What a good moment.
Very thankful for, you know, all my mentors, man. They've done such a good job of taking care of me, you know. Started out with my mom and my dad as a kid, and from there I moved up to Ohio and lived with a guy named Rick Ferkel and Pete Willoughby, and all those guys have become, you know, such great mentors to me, and, you know, they've prepared me for moments like this where the pressure's on and everything's on the line. So just thankful that, you know, I pulled through for my team. These guys are the ones that build these race cars that's going to win races whether I'm in the car or not. So it's my job to make sure that they get the results that they deserve, and I'm just really thankful that we get to race for a championship next week.
Rick, he went to Miami last year, won a Truck Series championship. Dave, he'll get to go to Miami this year and try to win an Xfinity Series title.
Daniel Hemrick finishes 2nd, and it seemed, Daniel, as you find your way now going to the Championship 4 in Miami, you guys just kind of kept it simple with a solid race car.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hats off to everybody on the South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet, Danny Stockman, and all these guys, man. We did a great job through practice of kind of getting some things where I didn't like in the race car, and we went back to some old notes and went back to Old Faithful, and man, it drove so much better today. And it wasn't easy by no means. We were really free taking off on early runs and did a good job as a team doing what we've done all year, and that's get it better every stop and give ourselves a shot. You know, Christopher and that 20 team, they were kind of lights out here all weekend, and honestly, I thought we held on better than I expected to once him and I got the 1st and 2nd there. And I'm just proud of these guys. Like I said, the South Point Hotel Casino Chevrolet was as fast as Xfinity's internet service when we needed to. Just needed to take more to go run with these guys.
Were you clearly thinking that I don't need to beat Christopher, he's got to win, I just need to run well on that last restart?
I mean, I was thinking if we win, if we win, we definitely get to go to Homestead. But it was obviously risk versus reward on how much. And worst thing you can do is get yourself in trouble and put yourself behind the 8 ball there with, you know, so few laps to go. But I thought we made the most of our race car, made the most of our weekend. And, we work all year for what we get a shot to do next week.
A little Miami preview for us. You excited about that?
Yeah, I love that place. I thought we went there as an underdog last year and had a really good shot to close it out, and just had some issues. And we kicked off this campaign here in 2018. Our goal was to kept calling it Redemption Tour, and I'm happy to know we get a shot to do that.
One of the 4 racing for a championship next week.
And you look at those 4 that have a shot at the title: Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Daniel Hemrick. All under 30 years old, all really just getting their careers started.
In 4 different organizations. Joe Gibbs Racing, Stewart Haas, RCR, Junior Motorsports, 4 different organizations, all 3 manufacturers.
And you heard Daniel Hemrick say he was there last year, had some problems early. Well, guess what? He was the only one that was there last year. This is a new experience for Bell, Reddick, and Custer. Can Daniel Hemrick's experience in that high-pressure situation, can that pay off for him?
And you can hear from all the drivers. Make sure to log on to NBCSports.com for more post-race coverage. Christopher Bell with the win. A difficult day for Elliott Sadler as he walks away from his race car. Elliott Sadler, the veteran who's announced that he will retire after this year, won't be a part of the Championship 4. But Christopher Bell will cherish this moment, but I'm sure his mind has now switched gears and he's thinking about what he has to do to win another championship. He won a Truck Series championship a year ago. Now, can he go back-to-back and win a championship in the Xfinity Series?
I think he's the favorite going to Miami.
Don't forget, Custer won that race last year. This is going to be a great battle.
A racetrack where they run right up against the wall. And a lot of times people say, well, that will suit the driving styles of someone who's comfortable on dirt. Well, that's where Christopher Bell's career started, running the dirt tracks and earning his place in the Xfinity Series. And now a spot in the Championship 4. Again, you'll hear from all 4 of the championship drivers on NBCSports.com. Make sure to tune in there. Thanks for joining us here. Coming up next on NBC, local news. And then tonight, 7:30, Florida State, Notre Dame college football.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.